Ladies and gentlemen of the Action Army, what is going on? And welcome to another episode of Answers for Athletes. In today's video, we have a question from one of the athletes that I coach online, Brandon Rose, who says, quick question, is there any point or benefit in eating more protein than the 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight general rule? Same thing with sleep. Is there any added benefit sleeping beyond the typical 8 hours recommended? Now, while I am not an expert on nutrition, and I am not an expert on the sleep science, I do feel like I have quite a bit of knowledge in both of these areas. I was a bodybuilder back in the day, and in college and right after college, I was a bodybuilder, and I was very, very, very meticulous about my nutrition. And I also have been pretty meticulous about my sleep over the years. I went through a period of time where I was taping my mouth shut every single night to force nose breathing, and I wore a Whoop watch to see the recovery that I would get from just nose breathing at night. I have experimented with my sleep a lot. I feel like I have researched enough to give you a pretty decent answer on these questions in this video. But before I give you that answer, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your question down below if you want me to answer your question in a video just like this. And there's a link down below in the pinned comment and the description of this video with access to my advanced training programs if you want to take all of the guesswork out of it and you want all the sets, the reps, the exercises, the regressions and progressions, the phases, the periodization, all done for you to get as athletic as possible and jump as high as you possibly can, then click that link and get one of my vertical jump training programs, and I will take you to the next level. All right, let's start with the first question. Is there any point or benefit in eating more protein than the 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight general rule? So let's think about why we even eat protein in the first place. What are the major benefits that we're trying to get as athletes? Because we're not normal people. We are athletes. And athletes who train, we lift weights, we do plyos, we play sport. We are going to need more protein than the average bear. We're going to need more sleep than the average bear. So everything that I'm talking about in this video is pertaining towards athletes, not a normal person, because you and I, we ain't average. We're destined for greatness. Okay. Why we consume protein, not just eat, because you could drink your protein, as all of you know. Why we consume protein as athletes is most people think, well, I want to build muscle. Of course, it will help you build muscle. I want to build strength. I want to improve my athletic performance. It will do all of these things. But the most important part, the most important benefit of consuming protein, other than, your general bodily functions, and that is definitely more important. But recovery. Most people forget about protein and it's the added recovery that it can give you from your training and your sport. Recovery, building muscle, building strength, improving athletic performance, general bodily function. This is why, as athletes, we consume protein. But how much is too much? Is there any benefit in getting more than 0.85 to 1 gram per pound of body weight? What most of the research says is that even 1 gram per pound of body weight can be too high. Most of the research says that 0.75 to 0.85 grams of protein per pound of body weight is right there. But most of the research is talking about average people. We are not average. So as I said, as athletes, we do need more recovery. That is why I like to think of myself as an athlete. That is why I consume 200 grams of protein every single day. Because right now at the beginning of the year, I started at 230 pounds. I am now 221 pounds, so I'm literally terrible at math, so I could not tell you 0.9, 0.85, 0.77. I don't know what 200 grams of protein per pound of body weight is in comparison to 221 pounds. However, I know I'm in that range. I'm high enough to build muscle, improve athletic performance, recover from my workouts. So I like to stay at 200 grams of protein per pound of body weight because I will never be below 200 pounds, right? I was when I was a bodybuilder, but now as I'm older, I've built some muscle in my day. I'll probably never again be below 200 pounds. 200 pounds is about my optimal jumping weight for vertical jump as well. So what you should do is listen to me, but then come to your own conclusion. Don't just do what I say. Listen to a bunch of different sources and then come to your own conclusion on what you're going to do. But 0.75 all the way up to 0.85, that's typically where the research tends to stand. And then up to 1 gram per pound of body weight, that's what a lot of trainers and athletes and coaches, that's where they tend to stand. But anything more than that, is that going to be beneficial? Maybe slightly, but there's really a law of diminishing returns. And according to the research, it's not really going to be more beneficial. So let me tell you a quick story, and I will make it quick because I've talked about this quite a few times between this channel and my other channel. But I used to do bodybuilding shows. And when I did those bodybuilding shows, I was eating 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. I was willing to do whatever it took to become as big and as muscular as possible, other than steroids. Steroids is where I drew the line. I was not willing to use PEDs or performance-enhancing drugs, but I was willing to spend all of my money, or the lack of money that I had in college, on protein, because protein is very expensive. Not just protein powder, protein foods. Protein is more expensive than carbohydrate foods and foods that are, high in fats. Protein is the most expensive macronutrient. I was willing to spend all my money. I was willing to eat 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight and take 45 minutes to take a shit. That was the biggest side effect that I noticed. Did I build a bunch of muscle? I built a ton of muscle. Did I build more muscle than I would have if I was just consuming 1 gram per pound of body weight? Maybe slightly, but not much because of that law of diminishing returns. But eating or consuming more protein than 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is not going to be detrimental, like a lot of people like to think. A lot of people say it's bad for the kidneys. It is not bad for the kidneys. Look at the research. Look at the science. If you have kidney disease or issues with your kidneys, it could be bad. But for normal, healthy, functioning kidneys, more is not going to be bad. It will make your farts smell very bad. It will. The more protein you consume, like I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating, 30 to 45 minutes to go to the bathroom. And that's like, I don't want to get too graphic, but imagine a log coming out and it's just like, it's just taking it. It's like the Titanic moving through the water, just like extremely, extremely slowly. You just have to sit there and just fight it or play on your phone until your legs go numb the entire time. I apologize for being graphic, but that's really what it was. That was the biggest side effect that I noticed. But there's not much benefit other than it's going to your grocery bill will be crazy through the roof. So it's just not really worth it to go above 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. I've yapped about this too much. Let's move on to sleep. Just understand that as athletes, there's really no major benefit to going above 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, but it's not going to be detrimental like a lot of people may make it think, unless 45-minute shits are detrimental to you, which they could be for a lot of people. Same thing with sleep. Is there any added benefit sleeping beyond the typical 8 hours recommended? This is where I get so much pushback on this, but this is like, just listen to me. It makes sense. Think about this. You are supposed to sleep until your body wakes you up. Sometimes that's 6 hours of sleep. Sometimes that's 9 hours of sleep. Sometimes that's 10 hours of sleep. Let's say that for me, I have a newborn son. Sometimes I don't get great sleep. So I might go 3 days in a row where I got 6 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep. And then that next day, my wife might be home, my fiance might be home, and she can wake up with the baby. And now I get to sleep as long as my body needs to sleep. And I might sleep 8.5 to 9.5 hours. because my body needed more sleep. So I don't use an alarm. I just allow myself to wake up when my body is ready to wake up. Recently, though, I have been going to the high school with my high school athletes at 6 a.m. So I do set an alarm, but I normally wake up before it. I normally set my alarm for 5 a.m. and I go to sleep early because I'm really tired at night, around like 8 p.m. 8:30 is like late for me. And my body will wake me up right before my alarm goes off. You are meant to sleep as long as your body wants to sleep. When the work is done in your muscles, your tendons, your central nervous system, your brain, your body will wake you up. Sunlight has a lot to do with this because of your circadian rhythm. So if you have the blackout curtains, it's more likely that you'll continue sleeping. If you allow morning sunlight to come in, it's more likely that you'll wake up like that. But there can be some benefit to sleeping more than 8 hours. It's really just what your body needs. And as athletes, sometimes when we're playing a lot of games in a row and we're training really hard, if we're in a volume phase for our training and we're really stressing the body and taxing the body a lot, we're going to need more sleep. And sometimes that might be more than 8 hours of sleep. It's possible to sleep more than 8 hours and feel really shitty as well. So what I would do if I was you is set your alarm and then go to bed early and try to beat your alarm. And if you don't beat your alarm, wake up for your alarm, and that's your that's like your backup plan, the alarm. But try to beat your alarm. And then on weekends or whatever days you are off, sleep until your body needs to, as long as your body needs to sleep, and let it wake up on its own whenever it is ready to wake up on its own and the work is done in your tendons, your muscles, your central nervous system, the brain, the body in general. Anyways, this was a long-winded video. Hopefully I didn't yap your ear off too much, but that's all that I have for this video. Like this video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your question down below if you want me to answer your question in a video just like this. And there is that link down below in the pinned comment if you want all of the guesswork taken out of it, the sets, the reps, the exercises, all done for you so that you can jump as high as possible. We have Beyond the Rim 1, 2, and 3, Beyond the Rim Strong and Bouncy, Beyond the Rim Project Plyo, the Vertical Jump Secret System, all the programs that you need to get as athletic as possible, as explosive as possible, and jump as high as possible. Click that link, check them out, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.